So after a long night last night and it being very cold, got up this morning, thought it was okay, but as the sun's coming up, the body temperature's just not sorting itself out. I'm feeling quite cold. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and do some exercises, try and pump the circulation around my body to try and, you know, warm up my blood, warm up my body, because otherwise it's not looking good. Could be the early signs of hypothermia. Touch wood, it's not.
Yeah, you have been kind of cold. Like, right now I'm pretty warm, personally. Well, I'm at a decent temperature, that's fine. Obviously I'm naked at a decent temperature, but obviously you're kind of finding it quite difficult.
So I'm just going to do some exercises. You know, I'm feeling quite cold now, to be fair.
Be careful about the calories you're using. You could alternatively potentially just stand out in the sun. Does that help?
No. I'm just going to do a few jumping jacks. You know, a little bit, not stuff that, you know, takes up too much calories.
Are you finding it?
Yeah, starting to feel a little bit better. Starting to try and warm up my body.
Do you want to go get some water from the river? Might as well get moving.
Still feeling very cold, man. Very cold. Yeah,
How cold do you feel?
Not freezing, but not normal. Yeah. So like, as if my body temperature is slightly colder.
Like, how would you describe your temperature as? At the moment, I'm warm.
I'm cold.
You're literally cold?
Yeah.
That's quite weird.
Like my shoulder can be warm, yeah? The inside of my body is cold.
That could be a big problem, by the way. Are you in the hurt locker?
I don't know, I sort my temperature out, I'd be alright, but I just find it very hard to... Every time there's a little gust of wind, I can feel it. Sends chills through my body.
What will you do if this doesn't kind of fix itself? So if you're cold during the day?
If I'm cold during the day, I can't stay out here at night. There's not a chance in hell, you know.
It could be anything. It could be a virus. Who knows? But something could be wrong. Like, how do you feel now compared to before the jumping jacks?
I thought I felt alright, but I still feel like I can still feel proper chill in me.
It's probably sort of time on the camera. It's about like 1:30. So if we really entered into the warmest part of the day, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's just cold, man. I'm gonna go down and try and get some water now. Hopefully that might sort myself out.
How cold is it? Like a bad cold, like?
Well, let's say 5 was normal. Like let's say it's like 10. Like 0, 1's freezing, yeah. 10's were absolute swelter, and 5's yeah. I'd say I'm about like 3.5, man.
That's not too good.
I'm gonna go get some water, man. Quite important, man.
See if it makes you, see if you feel different.
Yeah.
I know, like a few days ago, we were having doubts when it was raining, and we're in our shelter. That's one of the hardest points, I think. Each time when it's like at night, cold, wet, that's when I think it's the toughest. You was having doubts about how long, like the longevity you could really be doing this for. Tell me how you felt then.
Then I felt really down, man, because it just felt like the rain was never ending.
It's one of the longest rains we've had.
Cold, lack of food. But I always feel down at night, and then I always wake up in the morning with quite a positive attitude about the day. You know, I always think that the minute it starts to affect the day and the minute I start to wake up feeling down, that's when I've got to question the whole situation.
It's definitely tough.
But we've come quite far already, I think.
We've come far. We've come very far. I mean, the rain's the highest part, but you know, as you said, you know, it's kind of like having purposeful short-term memory or resilience, in a sense that the days aren't too bad. We're hungry, very low energy, it can be hot, it can hurt, but if you get through the day, you get into the night, it starts raining. That's mostly our lowest point, because that's when it's absolutely miserable, it is cold. You can easily get hypothermia out here, but as we know, once it starts raining and we're in our shelter, we can't exactly leave. We've got no choice but to kind of weather the storm.
Yeah.
Essentially, which is kind of good, because it means when the challenge is at its hardest, or one of its hardest, we can't quit, because there's no option to. There's no support team to help us out, no hotel 5 yards away, we're out in the middle of nowhere. It will take about 2 days to trek out, realistically. So, you know, when it's at its hardest, we've got no choice but to carry on. And then once it gets to the morning time, then it's a bit better because it's not raining normally, and that means, you know, we keep on going. You just like have to have that short-term memory, cognitive dissonance, where you know it's going to be hard, but as long as you get to the night, then you've got no choice but to stay the night, and the day's not too bad, and then the night comes again, but you've got no choice but to stay the night, because once it starts raining you can't move. So I guess that kind of helps in our advantage. But yeah, it's definitely the night is one of the toughest things.
It's, you know, the lack of constant sleep, the always being cold. It is so from one end of the spectrum to the other. Throughout the day you're hot, and then at night you're so cold at some points, like so cold.
You're shivering as well, like we shiver at night because of the rain would drop your body temperature down so quickly. And also you can't sleep when you're getting dripped on. You get like taps of water in your head, like tap, tap, drop, drop, and it's absolute torture. And you can't sleep whilst it's raining on you. Your body just won't let you sleep. Maybe also down to the fact that it's often better not to sleep when you could be getting close to hypothermia, just because that it will lower your metabolic rate when you go to sleep. And that's the last thing you want, a low metabolic rate when you're getting very cold. But we also want to avoid shivering at the same time, because that burns more calories, I think, in a quarter of an hour than more than like a half hour or 40 minutes of exercise. How are you finding all the bites?
Bites I've now got used to, I think. It's become a way of life out here now. You wake up in the morning and you're a little bit scratchy from the night before. At the beginning, really annoying, but you kind of just get used to them. Once part of your body's been bitten, it's a little bit less sensitive, I think, the next time it gets bitten.
Exactly.
Because now we're on to the stage where the first bites have sort of disappeared. We're now on to the
new
sort
bites,
of second wave of bites, and they're not as sensitive.
If you look there, that is some bites which are scratching way too hard, and it's bled out, it's got dirt all over it, but obviously that's just a super surface wound, so that's not, I don't have any care about that, to be honest, because it's really at the skin surface, like that I think it might be called the upper dermal layer. But yeah, it's easy, the bites you get used to, and I feel like the more you get bitten, after a while the bugs start to leave you alone.
For me, the thing that's affected me the most is the energy. It's, you wake up in the morning with whatever energy you think you've recovered with. You do like your first task, something real simple, like going down and getting some water or doing something like that, and you're shattered, you know.
It takes out of you, doesn't it?
And you're constantly having to sit down, break. Last night I had a little bit of trouble with my breathing. I couldn't seem to get my breathing sort of under control perfectly. The nights are proper uncomfortable, so you're never going to get a great night's sleep to recover. The lack of food, you know, most of my time thinking about what I would like to eat. It's about, in my head, setting little milestones, like get to tomorrow, and then we're halfway through.
I know exactly, the whole low energy is tough, and you wake up and you're like, oh, for the first 10 minutes you're like, this ain't too bad, but once you start actually moving, then you're like, okay. Essentially, our bodies still have energy. Basically, generally, our bodies will get energy from a mixture of your fat deposits and the food that you take in that day. But now, obviously, we're down to our fat and our muscle deposits. We've been down to that for a long time. We haven't really eaten much at all.
I've got more fat deposits.
Exactly. Have a bit more energy, man. One of the issues with the low energy as well, along with the food, is that nothing's healing. My knee, which I injured on the first night, like, I can walk on it, but if I move it like that, it hurts. I can't move it this way, it still hurts. Obviously the cut of my hand isn't healing like it should. The cut of my foot isn't healing any good, because we're lacking vitamins, we're lacking calories to have the energy to do anything. Being able to heal it.
Calcium for your bones.
Exactly, like everything we are lacking at the moment. We haven't bought any vitamin tablets or anything like that. We've come in with zero food. The only thing that's helped us is obviously the medical kit to help clean stuff, but we haven't had anything at all. No food, no water's been brought in, just the water from the stream.
And I'd say this about you, you've been a proper trooper. Most people would have bowed out by now.
Would have quit. At the moment the hand happened, most people would have quit.
But I am a little bit worried that you're one injury away from being, not that you'd want to go, but even if you're here, you're almost one injury away from just being a burden. And you know, because you can't go in water.
I went in water yesterday, and I got to the river.
But I mean, like, now that you've opened up your hand,
I've avoided going in water today. I want to let it heal.
If your foot gets any worse, you can't really walk.
No, I can walk.
I'm just saying that if one more injury, one more sort of big injury, and you're actually most probably a little bit more of a hindrance.
I'm not a hindrance at all, James. That's ridiculous.
No.
How can you say that? How can you say that?
I'm not saying you're a hindrance now.
Yeah.
That's not what I was saying. I was saying if you got one more injury, yeah.
If I got a major injury, because I can walk on this foot fine, I can use my knee fine. It just hurts. Hurt is different to having some kind of temporary disability.
I think you're taking it in the wrong way.
I don't know.
I'm saying that I like what you've done so far.
Yeah.
You've done really well, because a lot of people would have been a hindrance at that moment, yeah?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say, if you get one more injury like your hand, your foot gets majorly infected, that's when we've got to think twice about things.
Yeah, it's only
I think we could.
Small injuries are fine. I can't really have any more big injuries, like a hand situation, but hopefully shouldn't happen. Pain is only temporary. Failure is forever. You know, accept the pain now, and have that, because one of the main driving forces of being out here with these injuries is the fear of failure. Like, do I want to fail? No. So you have to put up with it. I have to accept that. There's a kind of a balance between risk and recklessness. Obviously, there's risk coming into this jungle or rainforest, and then there's obviously recklessness with my cut with my hand, in terms of like, not how it happened necessarily, but like more about how staying out here. In any doctor's advice, I should have gone home. I should never come back out, and that's obviously reckless. But at the moment, it's still just about fine. It's not gone into full-on danger mode.
Yeah.
I don't think, but it's very much treading the line. It's on the cusp of danger. Like, it's reckless, but it's not like, because obviously we know what's happening.
Yeah.
But like, it's not at a point where it's like clear danger to my hand permanently in any sense.
We had a conversation yesterday saying that the only thing that might make you bow out early is the hand.
Yeah, the hand is the only thing.
Have you woken up today feeling a little bit differently from what you were saying yesterday?
I don't know, if you can have a look. I'll put a plaster on it, because instead of having a whole bandage, so I feel like the bandage and that surgical glove, the bandage and the surgical glove are just like keeping it moist, which is a big mistake. Let's just take this off. So as you can see, that's what it looks like at the moment. Doesn't look too good. We have to kind of take it as we go. The doctors said that, if I was in a normal environment, in like a city or just a town or anywhere that wasn't outside in the wild, it would take 10 days until you can take the stitches out. So that means 10 days, and it should be completely healed, essentially.
Yeah.
It'll be completely closed up, completely healed. 10 days. It's been 8 days now since the stitches were put in. Because I did originally have the glue stitches, but they went out by the next day. That had split apart. So then obviously the next day they put in these stitches. And then it's been 8 days, and they say within 10 days you should be able to take the stitches out. As you can see, it's nowhere near ready.
No.
It might as well be the day after the injury. That's how bad it looks.
It's not looking great. You can still see the wound big time.
Yeah.
Now that the super glue's gone. I know you as a character. As you were saying yesterday, if that was me, you would have told me to. You would have got me out of here.
Oh, definitely. I would definitely take you pretty much straight out of here if that was your hand. But it's kind of different when it's your own hand. You kind of have that.
And I've tried to tell you that I think it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
But in a way, you're your own person, and you're not really.
Yeah.
Do I need to be a little bit more assertive with you? I've tried.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I can do to try and convince you to say, your hand's not looking great, Dan.
Yeah.
But you've always been a determined individual. So for me to try and convince you otherwise, there will be a time when it will just snap, and you'll be like, right, it's time to go.
Yeah, if this hasn't healed in, like, remember what we said last night, if this hasn't healed in 4 days time, if it hasn't seen progress in 4 days time, what's your thoughts, and what would you do?
I would go. My personal thoughts, I would go now, but if you can get to 4 days time and it hasn't healed, I would leave at that point, try and get home most probably, to try and get the best medical advice we can get, and for it to be in an environment that your body is naturally used to then get it to recover. And then you've got a bit of time before you obviously need to go back to work, and for your body to take in calories, take in nutrients, vitamins, to then recover, man. Because at the moment,
it's the nutrients,
your body,
vitamins, isn't it?
Your body as tough as it may be, is very fragile.
Exactly. It's at its weakest. It's going to be at its weakest it's ever been. Other than, let's say, when you're sick.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously when it's super weak. But it's at its weakest it's ever been.
Yeah. Like your foot back home, it would be such a minor injury.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to go to the doctors about it. You wouldn't have to do anything. You'd cover it up in a sock, plaster. You'd be all right. Because we're out here, it looks like it's got the potential that it could be the start of something
bad. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Get infected. It's like, at the end of the day, the foot is what is hitting the dirt the most.
Yeah,
it's hitting the dirt and the moisture the most, because it's your foot. At the end of the day, bottom of your foot, it's always going to have the worst.
Pounding against rocks, like, you know, when we were down in the stream yesterday.
Yeah. So, obviously on the way out sometimes. Yeah.
So for your foot, mate, I'd want to give your foot a few more days to recover before we even tackle that road out of there.
Yeah.
So you know my plan. It is to see it out until Saturday, which gives you the 4 days, which gives you longer than the 10 days that you should have had your stitches in.
Yeah.
If at that point it's still bad, I think we should pull the plug.
Potentially pull the plug. This is like definitely
be stupid to stay out there.
Yeah. So I think things like hunger, you know what's going on, but things like this, we don't know what's going on under the surface. You know, there's known knowns, and there's unknown knowns.
Yeah.
And essentially, you know, we're not medics, we're not doctors in any sense of the word. We don't have any support team with us to give us advice. Like, I don't know what that's meant to be. When I smell it, it doesn't smell good at all. It smells bad. Like, if I was to say anything, I've never smelt it in my life before, but I'd imagine it's not far off, like, rotting flesh.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's not far off that. I've never smelt it, or decaying.
That's what I thought yesterday.
If you want to give it a smell, give it a smell. Smells like rotting flesh, if anything. Like, I've never smelt it, but, you know, it's not good. But, you know, that's the thing. We don't have anyone to kind of tell us, you know. I don't know the consequences of being out here longer. I can still move my hands, but, like, I'm not my kind of like appendages, my fingers. But, you know, I don't know. I don't have the knowledge to know what risks are involved by staying out here longer, and then going home in like whatever amount of days, or leaving now. What's the difference from then and now? Because we don't have that kind of medical advice. We don't have that knowledge. There's no way to know. We don't have any internet connection to use a bit of Google or some Yahoo answers. We don't have anything like that at all. So it's just like, it's a massive unknown. Like the lack of energy, lack of hunger. When I stand up, sometimes I feel my vision kind of going, almost like blacking out. Everything goes like real kind of, not blurry, but it's different to blurry. Like real, like shaky.
No, like when you see the old school TVs.
It's like, don't really pulsate. Don't like with something like pulsates. It's like a wave, like ripples, like a wave.
Yeah, you know, like when you
vision.
Do you know the old school TVs when the aerial wasn't working in it?
Yeah.
That's like what mine goes like.
Because at the end of the day, it's not like you're in a nice double bed, but we've got each other. When I accidentally tried to get up, and I had my elbow into your arm. I heard you say something, but I thought you were just saying like, "Why are you getting up?" something like that. And I got over even harder to try to put more weight onto it, and he's like, "Ow," and that kind of thing. So I thought my elbow was into the floor.
It just shows how close, how tight it is.
It's very tight inside there. Yeah, it's terribly tight. But you know what? You get used to it. It feels, the first few nights, it felt smaller than it is now.
Yeah, we've got used to it. I don't know about you.
We get used. We've got a system of turning around.
And we're getting smaller.
Yeah, and we're getting skinnier, which helps.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe we should not try to find any food, and then we can just spend some time, maybe do some aerobics. Do some calisthenics.
Might as well go run a marathon, mate.
Let's do a marathon and lose a bit more weight, get more space in there. But it feels like, you know, sometimes the rooms that cage you in, they feel a lot bigger after a while. Because you get used to it. What you do kind of notice essentially out here is different in the way you walk compared to how you would walk, like at home. Because obviously at home you've got shoes and you can walk with your heel. Because you go heel first normally, and you can pound your heel into the ground and you won't feel any negative effect. Just because the shoe heel is taking most of the brunt of the force. obviously back in the times of the cavemen before shoes were invented, they would actually walk on their kind of tiptoes essentially. This is just because that will absorb more, it helps like spread the absorption of the impact of hitting the floor all the time. And that's kind of what we've gone back to now here as well. To that, going like toe first or kind of more going a bit more flat-footed means you are able to essentially feel the ground for good spots to walk on, rather than going heel first and slamming your heel down, because that could cause a lot of damage. So that's good. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to look for some larvae. Best way to find larvae, this is how I walk anyway, more of a kind of softly putting your feet down, reasonably flat, but you kind of go with your toe first as you kind of like scout the area for the rest of your foot, like that. As you can see, I've got the duct tape on my foot there, just to protect that cut, because it feels painful and it please get infected. So right now I'm going to look for some larvae. Larvae can be found in dead wood or like rotting wood. I've been trying to look for it before, I couldn't find anything, but I'm going to give it another go. So I'm using my left hand because my right hand isn't in the best shape. Nothing in there. Nothing in there. I've got a cut on my foot, kind of like a dig that kind of looks quite nasty. That kind of happened days and days ago, maybe 5 days ago even. It's been getting worse and worse. It's hard to walk on. I've been walking on my tiptoes instead. I tried washing off some of the dirt. But like it still looks nasty, so I'm going to have to try and clean it out and see what I can find out of it. Okay, bit of a antiseptic wipe so I can see what the issue is, because it's too dirty at the moment to have to get like a good look at it. Just try to get inside it a bit. And you're starting to see a bit of flesh underneath, but still very dirty. There we go. Starting to see some flesh. Ah, that stung. Oh. Touch the very fleshy part of it. Get a better look at it. Yeah. There we go, so better from here. The problem with obviously being in the rainforest of this, the floor is so wet and it's so dirty, it's going to be full of bacteria. Just have to go for it sometimes. My body's eating all the bug bites. Still quite a bit of dirt there. What's in the water? No, it's going to be dirty water, but I need to kind of flush out some of the particles in here. Yeah, what do you think about that? It's reasonably deep for like a foot.
Yeah.
I just want to get, it's hard to get all the dirt out. It's very difficult in this situation. Clean as I want to get for now. I want to just clean around the outside.
What are you going to put on it though? There's not anything.
Duct tape. There's not much we can really do, but just keep it. But it's the only choice is duct tape. That's literally the only choice, because it's not going to. The duct tape won't even last. The duct tape won't even last at all.
Yeah.
But I don't really have much choice. The only kind of, because you're still going to get wet, still going to get dirty, a bit less dirty, but essentially it's going to cut the pain I feel from it when I step on things. It's not the worst cut I have on my body, is it? So it doesn't really cause me too much concern.
It'd be the more painful cut on the body though.
Yeah, when I'm walking, yeah. See, it doesn't even, you can see that. It doesn't even get that clean. My feet are so dirty. It's still got dirt in all the grooves. In the jungle out here, it's very easy to get infections, because it is that damp and humid, and it's absolutely dirty as well. I need to save. I was going to use another pad, but we really need to be saving it for my hand here. This doesn't cause me as much concern as my hand, or at least not yet. Got any duct tape?
I don't know. You have it all.
Yeah, can you look at my bag, please? Okay, so for now it's a temporary fix. I'm going to put some duct tape on my feet. In history, duct tape does not stay on the feet well. So once it gets wet, it'll just slide off. But I don't have a lot more choice. Enough layers and tightly enough. Hopefully, it does stay. Don't want to do it too tight to cut off any kind of circulation, but I need to tighten up its stairs so that it stays, because I don't want to be dealing with this all the time. Duct tape is the vine of the modern world. There we go. Sweet, that dealt with for now. Sweet. There we go. Found a little worm. Found 2 worms. And so yeah. That's the 3rd one as well.
Nice.
If I just get to it. Oh, the 3rd one might have got away. We've got 2. And a beetle. But if it's dead, I wouldn't want to eat it. You don't know information. You don't know how long it's been dead for. And if one's dropped off, I'll find it in a second.
What have you lost? I'll quickly eat that one.
Oh, we've got that find. But have a bit of water, yeah?
Yeah.
Getting them a bit clean. Bite itself down. I want to get the whole worm. Don't want to pull off. So. I think I severed it. Oh, lost it. There you go. Let's go.
Nice.
Easy to swallow sometimes. Decent brunch, first meal of the day, so we've come more for like a lunch brunch, but
yep.
Pretty decent, yeah?
It's alright.
Can't complain.
Bit slimy.
Can't complain, can we?
No different to candy ones.
Okay, so I've just found this little bug here. I'm gonna eat it. It's not gonna give me much sustenance, but whilst I was sitting down, managed to find it and get it from the ground. It's quite a nippy creature, so I'm going to bite it very quickly. Done.
Tastes good.
It tastes as good as it can be.
It's an afternoon, about 5 o'clock.
And we've come back into our shelter because it's raining outside and we're going to kind of try to stay dry. It looks like the leaves we put on last night have really made a good effect. Keeping us dry, the big leaves keeping us really, well, there's some water coming in, but it's not too bad. It wasn't a heavy shower either, but we've managed to get through it.
Mainly on my feet, the water's coming through, so we know that if this rain stops, then we can make a few more amendments before the night comes in.
Then you might be able to see some water coming in there. But yeah, it's very good. But like, you know, it's quite a nice break to have a bit of rain. And normally the rain happens at night mostly. But personally, I'd like the sky to expel some of its liquid during the day, which will keep the nights just a bit less extreme.
Yeah, either that or the rain out here, because we're getting further into monsoon season, it's becoming now more and more unpredictable.
Okay, and it's becoming more and more often.
Yeah, so the longer we go with this, you know, the more we should expect rain, and the more we most probably will spend in this shelter. So.
Sweet, yeah. It's a nice cool place to lie down. I'd rather be in here than out in the rain.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you don't get bitten when it's raining, so.
Exactly, mosquitoes don't bite you when it's raining. But I would say being when it rains during the day, my spirits go a bit higher. Possibly due to kind of like the exhaustion of the heat, and the sun during the day does tire you out. When it starts raining during the day, it kind of cools down the temperature a bit, which kind of allows, I don't know, it just feels nicer on the body.
It sort of kicks you in a upper gear as well, because we have quite a lot of stuff outside, so you know, we had quite a lot to do before when it started to rain to get everything inside. So, you know, it sort of gives you a little bit of a kick up the arse to actually do something. You know, I was down at the stream at the time, so I had to quickly grab some water and come back and pack everything away. You know, some of it being electrical to get out of the rain and then into the shelter.
Yeah.
So I think that's why, and it sort of gets your blood pumping, you know.
Yeah, and it does kind of break up your day a bit, because we've been outside for a long time. Very little energy to do anything. But yeah, this kind of brings us inside to a nice, pretty at the moment, kind of cosy. Very cosy place. Stay there, James, stay there, don't move, don't move. It's a bite. There was just a biting ant about to go, around James's neck.
I think if there was a way out now, I would most probably take it. I'm very cold, very wet, very hungry, and very tired. All of them, the mixture, I think are pushing me right to my limits.
So if there's a way to kind of quit at this moment, if there's like a viable opportunity to get out of here to safety, what would you do?
I would, most probably take that. Yeah.
How hard do you find it? What's going on so bad tonight?
It's just the temperature. Even before it started to rain, I was cold and almost shivering already, and the rain's just added to that, and the longevity of the rain, and the space inside this compartment to stay dry, because there's not a lot of space anymore in here that is dry. It's really starting to just wear me down, to be fair. But there's no way out until the morning, and that'll be a different conversation, I think.
To us, yeah, obviously it is during monsoon season, so the rain is always going to be the heaviest. It doesn't, obviously when you're naked as well, that means you don't have that kind of first layer of shelter in terms of like keeping your body heat in and keeping you warm. But it's something which I've gotten used to. It's wet, I'm wet, it's cold, I'm cold, but it's just something which just grown to handle. I know it's going to be wet and cold, but I know that it's not going to last forever at the end of the day. It's just something to put up with, to be honest, and that's part of the challenge. So putting up with things and having that resilience to keep on going. What do you think?
Yeah, man, definitely. And I'm only saying that in sort of the heat of the moment. Most probably when we get to the morning, it'll be completely different. I'll have a completely different frame of mind. But we knew what we were getting ourselves in for. I don't think quite, you don't see rain like this in the UK, but judging on the first week, of rain, that was quite controllable, but it seems to be that, the last few nights, excluding last night, is just, all of a sudden ramped it up another gear.
And that's our shelter in night vision. You can't see is obviously the wet all over the floor, the dampness and the moisture, but we'll have to just put up with it.
So it's now November the 7th, Monday. Just finished last night. It was most probably the hardest night's sleep we've had since we've been here. It rained non-stop from start to finish, which was after a day of 2 days of sort of hiking. It's left us pretty exhausted. Hardly any sleep. Energy is already low, and we haven't even made it outside the shelter yet. We're going to have to spend most probably the first part of today sleeping while the sun's out, just to recover, which means we're losing out on daylight hours of actually doing stuff, trying to find food. But that's what it's come to. At the moment, we don't know how many more days we can put up with the rain, because it's becoming the hardest part here now. Because one, it's predictable when it's going to come, but it's unpredictable how hard and how long, and even all the amendments we made on the shelter didn't stand us for what came last night, because it came hard and fast last night and seeped all the way through what we thought was a good shelter that we made yesterday. So we're going to have to go back to the drawing board by the looks of it. So it must be for that. So it's quite late in the evening now. Must be around about 10 o'clock we reckon. The rain seems to have stopped, the second lot of rain. that could be the only rain for this evening, touch wood. What's happened though, because it's leaked into sort of foot of the shelter, it's left me feeling really cold, so I'm absolutely broke to the bone, I think. So any more rain, I think it'll get even colder. Just got to try and put up with that tonight and then hopefully make more amendments to the shelter. Don't know ways of keeping myself warm, but yeah. What about you, Dan? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel fine, I'm used to it, so really don't really try. What's going on, man? Tell me, talk to me.
I'm almost defeated, man.
You're almost defeated? What's not going right?
It's constantly cold, man. You know, lack of sleep, energy.
Do you not think you can do another night?
I think I can do another night, man. I'm just trying to work out in my head if I think I can do another 10. Is there another 10 like that? I don't know, man.
What do you think the fix is? Obviously, as you said the other day, there's two choices, isn't there? You continue or you kind of leave and get to a hotel. What do you think you'll do?
The thing is, it's kind of a big group decision, isn't it?
Why?
Because, you know, we're out in the middle of nowhere, so if one person goes, I think the other person has to go as well.
Not necessarily.
You know?
Because I can do this, I can finish this off by myself.
In my head, I'm not happy. I wouldn't be happy leaving you here. So
You shouldn't make a decision based on just being any kind of concern for me.
You know, it's one bad night, isn't it? So you know, it's not could be a different story. I just need a bit of time to prep myself up, I think.
Most nights are going to be quite difficult, aren't they? Realistically, and the monsoons are getting worse, aren't they? Every night.
In my head, quitting's not an option. So. I need a bit more time to just prep myself for the day, I suppose. I'm not saying I'm not liking it, so that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, the night last night I found very, very difficult.
And can you do another 10 nights or whatever?
You just got to grin and bear it, don't you?
Well, so if you had the money to be able to leave a country, would you?
If I had the money, would I leave?
Yeah.
I don't know. Not now, no. Just because, you know, it was one bad night, you know.
There's been quite a few bad nights, haven't you?
No, that was the worst.
That was the worst night?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What would you do if there's another night like this?
Well, what do you think I should do?
I think you should do whatever keeps you safe. You should do whatever keeps you safe. If something hurts more than to the degree of how much maybe satisfaction or how much pleasure it can give you, then you should consider what you want to do. Like I wouldn't want to see you out here in a place where there's just too much pain and there's too much too much.
It's not pain. It's at all. Pain's the wrong word.
Suffering or not suffering, miserable.
Yeah.
Just being downtrodden, that kind of stuff. You shouldn't put me in that decision in the sense that you shouldn't leave a person out here.
It'd be nice to start and finish the whole thing as a group, wouldn't it? I think I'll do alright. I just need a bit more time this morning just to sort of prep my mind a little bit. Because the days I'm finding fucking easy, if not easier than you.
Yeah.
You know, I've got more energy, stuff like that. You know, it's just, I suppose I need to make them amendments to the shelter because my side was just so wet last night. And it's cold, I'm cold now.
I'm decent temperature.
Yeah, so...
Do you think you might be sensitive to the cold or your skin might be?
Yeah. I think as a team we should be thinking about, this is not bailing out early, that we did say that obviously we don't want to go to home today because we've still got stuff to do,
Yeah.
But in terms of, you know, your hands and stuff like that, Saturday was going to be a day where we would contemplate it. So I don't know what your thoughts are around that.
Or do you want to contemplate it on Saturday?
But then I know what your answer will be, that you don't want to go.
Yeah, I'll definitely not want to go.
But then I think that's a little bit stupid on your part.
In what sense?
Your hand is not getting any better at all. That's
Yeah.
not me saying that
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
Yeah, my hand's not getting any better, but I'll fight through it. I know I've probably got a stronger sense of desire to be out here than you. Because I know you said if you had my hand situation where it was cut open and it wasn't healing, that you'd probably be on your way out, right? I'm in a situation where unless I can see it get infected, I'll realistically stay.
I think I'll be alright, man. I think, you know, I've just woken up, you know, a little bit down, you know, but, you know, I don't want to quit. You know, I've come this far, you know. We're at a halfway stage now, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's just certain things I've got to do to the shelter to try and make it, I don't know, more waterproof and stuff like that. You know, we've got, what, 10 days, is it? 11 days. We're now into sort of the back end of the project. To walk away now would be disappointing. So
This is day 8 at the on the second attempt. There's another like 12 days left or 11 days left.
Yeah, so do today, and then we got 10 days left, and that's, you know, just count everyone as it comes up.
Then almost down to single figures, right?
Yeah, and that's when in my head I feel a bit better.
Yeah.
If you think it was, we were sleeping in that first shelter, so I think how quickly that time's gone, you know. And that was a terrible sleep as well. I got through that, so I'm just having a little bit of a down moment, mate. It's not like me wanting to quit or anything, it's just me. You can have moments where you feel a little bit down.
Yeah.
Just don't mind. I want to lay here for a little bit, get my head together, and then be ready to crack on with the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think you'll think about it on Saturday?
No, well, if you, it was only because I thought that's what we both agreed. But if you're wanting to stay, then I'll stay, man. You know, because mate, the sense of leaving now will be a sense of failure, whereas the sense of sticking it out and, you know, getting to the Sunday will be a great sense of achievement.
But it's never about failure. Like what we've done so far, something that not many people could do.
Yeah, no. But
have the motivation to do and have the heart to do.
Yeah.
Like we've achieved like so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be forgotten.
I've always said, I never want to quit, mate, but
Yeah.
I'm just feeling a little bit more down today than, you know, what we do normally.
Then, you know.
Yeah, but I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve.
What do you want to achieve?
I want to achieve the 20 days
Yeah.
being out here, you know, surviving, you know, catching food, you know, making fire. We've not got to that sense yet.
Well, you know, how many of your mates will say they've spent 8 days out in the rainforest?
None apart from you.
Yeah. Just like don't take certain actions because of like a fear of failure.
I've woken up a little bit down today, man. It's not me, you know, wanting to go or anything. It's just, you know.
So at the end of the day, if you end up getting hurt, whose responsibility is that? That's going to come down on me in many ways. Like who organised this trip?
Yeah, but
Who essentially led you out here?
I'm not going to get hurt. Like, I'm not.
Like regardless, someone's going to feel responsibility for anything that happens to you out here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Logically.
What do you think is going to happen to me?
I don't know, but if something does, then that's going to, you know, that's going to be on my kind of. I'm going to put that down on my responsibility. So obviously I planned it.
Yeah, if it looks like I'm getting hypothermia, then I'm out. But at the moment I'm not. I'm just feeling a little bit more cold than potentially what you are.
How you doing, mate? How bad's the feeling?
Bad, man.
You still 4 out of 10?
Yeah. I don't know what to do, mate.
Ultimately, you got to put yourself before the project.
I want to complete this project, though.
You still feeling cold?
Yeah. Not terribly cold, but...
Like, how does it feel? Like, to describe it, like, if you was in England, what time of the... Let's say you've got t-shirt and trousers on. What time of the year does it feel like outside?
Like early spring.
So a bit nippy.
Yeah.
I know my energy levels have never been lower than this. Like, the amount I can accomplish in each day is...
I don't even think we're going to be able to go fishing today.
Nah. The amount I can accomplish each day is just minimal. I don't have the energy to be like standing around all that kind of stuff anymore.
I don't know what to do, mate.
Where did this feeling kind of start yesterday?
Like last night, yeah. That was like, you know, due to it actually being a little bit colder. You know, I'm not shivering yet. If I was shivering, then that'd be it, mate. I think you'd have to get me the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you know, if I was to leave, what would you do?
I'd have to continue, to be honest. Just gone through too much to be able to stop.
Would you not come out and come back in?
I wouldn't have the energy to.
So if this gets any worse, yeah?
Yeah.
Then I'd need medical attention.
Yeah.
And I'd need you to leave with me.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. Yeah, if it got really bad, and like you obviously full on. If it got really, really bad. Yeah, if it got really bad and you know, you're full on hypothermia and you can't really move much, then I'd have to go out.
Just hope to sort yourself out, mate.
But what happens if it gets really bad overnight?
You'll have to go first thing, won't we?
It's just I can't really come back in. Like, how bad does it feel?
Right at the moment.
Do you think it's going to get bad overnight?
Well, I'm naturally going to get colder, aren't I?
Have you had some water?
Yeah.
And you still feel...
The energy's still good though.
Yeah.
So, it's not like I'm shivering, it's just... Every now and again I get these like sort of cold bursts.
What's the risk of us both having to leave tomorrow to sort this out?
I don't know. I'm hoping none of us will have to leave at all. So, I don't know, mate.
But similar to this cut, obviously, it could force our hands.
Yeah. You know, if we have to go, we have to go, don't we? You know, but I will try and push right to the end.
But like, when we have to go, we have to go. What happens tonight when you're inside there and the temperature will drop naturally?
Yeah.
Your temperature, it's like probably 2:30 now, almost 3. I'm pretty warm at the moment. I'm actually kind of quite hot, if anything, and you're still cold.
Mid-level. I'm about 5 now. What do you think I should do?
What do you think? I don't know how bad you feel.
Alright. Like, you know, it's just... it's not like I'm always cold. It comes and it goes. If it's more of a constant thing, yeah, like let's say tomorrow morning it's more constant, but it's still at that sort of 3, I'll leave by myself, yeah. If it's lower than that and I'm shivering and stuff like that, mate, then I might need you to come with me.
But that draws an end to the whole project, doesn't it?
It does, but, you know, as you said, help comes first.
So I know that if I left, you'd want to leave because you wouldn't feel like you could do it by yourself. Is that it? Like, a bad situation would be if none of us can finish this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a different situation. I don't know, because if you couldn't finish and you had to go, I know I could finish it myself.
Yeah. I think in my ability I could finish it. Yeah. If you were to have to go, I just don't think the remoteness of where we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not safe.
I'd be fine, but in my own choice, I'd be able to finish it. But in your own choice, would you not be able to finish it if it was just you?
I wouldn't want to put myself in that risk. That would be the difference. You know, if you do something with a machete or, I don't know, you fall down the side of, you slip, you crack your head, yeah? That's, no one's here around you to help you up. You know, there's sort of a little bit of safety in too.
Yeah, but it's about your own kind of calculated risk, isn't it? People take different kind of calculated risks in their life.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know what you think I should do. You know, I gave my opinion on your hands, and I still...
Personally, so,
I want to finish this, that's right.
But, like, how often are these cold bursts you're getting?
They're not as much as what they were this morning. You know, it's hopefully starting to sort itself out. But all it could take is like one night, sort of real cold, wet dampness, yeah. I think that might be it. I'll have to see. But let's get through tonight. It's already getting on a little bit now anyway. Let's sort the shelter out more. Let me sleep in the bin bag. You know, hopefully that will keep the body heating. Definitely, it should definitely keep the body heating. You know, and hopefully I wake up tomorrow feeling a bit better. If not, then
project and for my help, I might have to bail out. Yeah.
So one more night, I guess, and see how you feel.
I still feel bad tomorrow then.
We are running out of kind of big leaves to go for, so we're going to have to go for some smaller leaves for now.
Like right deep into them trees. Too right? Slightly too right.
Where I'm pointing.
Keep going under sort of that arch of those trees there.
What, there?
Yeah, it's in there.
What colour?
Like sort of browny green. Be very hard to get now.
It's under, like, am I pointing in the right direction?
Yeah.
Where's it, like inside there?
Yep. That's if it's not disappeared already.
Yeah, they are fast, so there's so many different routes you can go. How big a lizard was it?
About the size of your camera. Just bang the wood to see if it's there. Like the big trunk. The big trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's... Fuck. That's the first bit of life I've seen around here.
That would have been some good food.
Yeah, definitely.
Whoa. I've blacked, I'm blacking out. There we go. Okay, it's come back. That's the worst blackout yet.
Really?
I felt that on my whole body.
Oh, mate.
Oh.
That's not good.
See, like black hexagons, or it's like they're like a black honeycomb.
Yeah.
Whole vision went. It goes in from the outside to the inside, leaves a little oval, and it closes off, and it kind of fades away.
Mate, that's not good.
Whoa. I was using the machete, and my energy was so low, I was barely cutting through it, so I had to just take it off in my hands. I'm just going to grab the rest of the leaves I've got there, then I'm not doing any more leaves. I can't give any more. It's going to start raining soon as well. Okay, so just going to eat this cricket. Hopefully it's got a nice crunch, so my energy levels are low. Okay, so my energy levels are super low now. Spending a bit of energy cutting down the leaves for the shelter, so I was going to eat this cricket right here. Bon appetit. Very crunchy.
Tastes good though?
Ugh. Tastes like cricket. That's cricket.
That's cricket.
Yesterday, you were kind of facing issues with what could have been, for all we know, early onset hypothermia.
Yep.
You were super cold, even during the day.
Yep.
When it was sunny, when you was out in the sun,
Yep.
you'd have these cold waves come over you. How do you feel differently today? It's a new day.
I'm feeling more positive today actually. Last night it didn't rain as much. I'm wearing a black bag to sort of trap in some body heat. That helped massively. That might have to, if it gets too cold, might have to be a thing that I start using. I had a decent night's sleep. I wasn't in puddles of water, which was keeping me forever cold.
So obviously, water drops your temperature so quickly.
I've woken up today and I'm actually feeling really positive, like completely flip of a coin from yesterday. Ready to crack on with the day and try and see the project to the end, mate, which I reckon with more nights like that, and you know, with the precautions we're taking now, I can do. What about you? How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I feel fine. Just low energy as normal. Body fat's dropping to so minimal levels now. In terms of, obviously I can lose more body fat, but once you get below like 11% body fat, that's when it starts to have real issues with you having low energy, as your body doesn't want to burn that remaining fat, as it's really important to your body's function.
You ready to crack on and go fishing today?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling positive about it.
This whole time I've been out here, I'm yet to have a bowel movement. It kind of shows how little it's been ate, which is pretty much zero. Other than some kind of insects, I ate a lizard, I've had a cricket, I've had a few worms, a few ants as well, a few bugs, a few berries, but it's not really enough to kind of make a bowel movement, so I'm kind of concerned that I probably might go this whole journey without it. At the moment, I mean, you've got kind of two things in the wild. You've got thriving or surviving. At the moment we're just surviving, which isn't the best. That just means we're eating hand to mouth, and we're not getting enough calories in. This isn't too good. Hopefully when we start fishing, hopefully we catch enough fish to kind of change that. We're going to start tomorrow, but with kind of the rain, it's becoming more unpredictable, so it's now raining during the day as well, which is making it difficult to be outside, as it kind of drops your body temperature, gets you wet. In terms of this whole experience, my idea was to do it with as few kind of survival tools as possible. Sleeping in shelter is a lot easier now. I've got plenty of leaves on there, so that, you know, there are still drips coming through and it does still get wet, but we're not getting soaked. It's a lot nicer. I look forward to getting home after my days. We've been in Malaysia for almost 2 weeks now. We've been in Malaysia for about 2 weeks now, so another week and a few days, and we will be back home eating full meals, which I'm very excited about. It's all going well. The blackouts are getting worse. The way to describe how the blackouts work for me, at least, is that kind of vignettes. It starts with vignetting, and the blackness fades in until there's a tiny circle to see through, and then that goes, and it kind of goes away. But one of my latest ones, it actually hurt my head. That's the first time I felt pain, like actual real pain from a blackout. This doesn't bode too well. Keep doing it. My scar is not going to heal whilst I'm out here. I've accepted that. I'll have to see a doctor when I get back to England. But other than that, you know, I'm still doing fine. You know, the hunger doesn't affect me that much. It's the low energy that affects me. Like, as much as I want food, I'm not feeling like, I need some food, like you would in England. Or maybe that's because that food's so accessible in England that, like, when you don't have it, you're like, well, it kind of hurts, I kind of need it. But out here, we know food's not really much of an option at the moment, because we haven't seen that many. We haven't seen many creatures, kind of like mammals or reptiles, to eat, to be honest. We haven't seen any. Well, I've had one lizard myself. James saw a large lizard the other day. I saw a monitor lizard back at our first location. I'm getting a bit too skinny, which means that my body's having difficulty burning in my remaining fat, because it is kind of trying to hold onto it, because, you know, you do need fat to survive. But yeah, no, I do think James, one of the key things that he's able to do is a great motivator. Having 2 people out here is a lot. I think it's probably a lot better than having one, because one person will, kind of having 2 people means you're kind of more motivated. You've got someone else to kind of like keep each other motivated and kind of keep each other strong. When you've got one person, you're kind of by yourself, and it's probably easier to give up. But yeah, 2 people helps you keep motivated and keeps you going quite hard. Yeah, I can tell how bad this lack of nutrition, lack of food is affecting me. So my knee injury, which I sustained on the first location by falling partway down, very, very short ravine, maybe 8 feet, 7, 8 feet, I'm not really sure. Well, I didn't fall the whole way, but my knee kind of stayed on the surface. It's not healing. That would be like a 3-4 day maximum injury in England when you're eating plenty of food. Out here, it's been 2 weeks and it's not doing much healing at all. That's my knee. That is my knee. That is my knee hurting. Right now we're going to make ourselves, or try to make ourselves a improvised fishing net using this. We know where the river is. We've been kind of delayed going back there for quite a few days now. So maybe been, what, 3 days, James?
Yep.
Because energy's been low. I'm kind of like also kind of hoping for my hand to heal a bit more, because once water gets to it, it kind of starts the healing process all over again. Yes. But we're going to crack on and see what we can make. At the moment, my energy level's super low. I'm blacking out most times I'm standing up, pretty much. My last blackout actually hurt for the first time. Find a corner, so this mosquito net. 4 corners. I want to try to find my way up. In what looks like almost a straight line. There you go, so I'm going to make one, just fold it over to give it a bit more strength. So it could be carrying a certain amount of water out the river. I'm going to use this line, do basic knots. It's on fisherman knots. I didn't know how to do fisherman knots at one point in the past, but you kind of forget. So what now, we're going to be making an improvised fishing net. From this mosquito net. I haven't been fishing before in my life, so it's kind of part guesswork and part from a theory from what I've read online on the old Wikipedia, I guess. Yes, we're going to crack on. Yeah, we haven't been able to go fishing in a while. Well, we've known where the river is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, we haven't been able to go fishing in a while. We've known where the river is, but we've kind of been delayed by lack of energy. Also, I've been hoping for my wound to heal a bit more, because whenever it hits water, it kind of starts the healing process all over again, and it's going to increase the chances of infection. So it's going to kind of use this fishing line to kind of like put it together. I'm not using a proper fishing knot. I used to know how to do them, but that kind of goes out your mind whilst you're out here. Put a few on it. So what I've done as well is kind of rolled it up to make it a bit stronger, as that's got to be pulled out of the water essentially. Just go into my medical hit. Get myself some scissors so we can cut it at the right length. I'm kind of guessing the length. Better to cut too long than to cut too short. That's one corner done. Find another corner. Give it a fold. Run it decent amount. Just to give it a bit more strength when it comes out of the water, as you will be putting up a fair bit of water, because these holes are quite small. So it take a while to drain out. There is no way to know. There's no way to know if this fishing method will work or not. It's just pure trial and error. You ever been fishing, James?
Yeah, once.
So you are already.
I've never caught anything.
You're already the most experienced fisher here. So let's see what happens.
I've not been this type of fishing.
When was the last time you went fishing?
About a month before we came out here.
You're an expert compared to me then. How long were you fishing out there for?
Pardon?
How long were you fishing?
About half a day.
Half a day.
Yeah.
Who are you out there fishing with?
My brother.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to cut this again, give it some length. Stuff out another corner. Same. It's got bitten by another insect. Always a pleasure. What do you think our hopes, our chances of catching fish are, James?
It wasn't the kind of river where you could tell anything was living in there, so we are doing it a little bit blind. We hope there's life in that river, unlike this forest. Yeah, it's just trial and error, man. We're just gonna have to keep trying.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, where there's will, there's a way. But unfortunately, neither of us are called Will.
No.
So you're gonna have to just rely on faith, but neither of us are called Faith. What do we have?
We have a James and we have a Dan.
We've got beginner's luck.
Yeah, we need some of that, to be fair.
I'm hoping that is a real thing, beginner's luck. So yeah, this type of fishing, I think, what we called Sien fishing. I'm not really sure, but you can always edit out. Or just voice over. Kind of talking. Probably 100% incorrect. Yeah. About it. If we had Jesus along with us, we only need one fish.
Yeah.
Feed 1,000 of us.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us practice. So it's very difficult. More kind of pieces of string kind of tie. Yeah, the more type of piece of string kind of tie here. That's going to reduce the pressure on each part of this very obviously weak mosquito net. So the more we do the better. It makes it a bit more complex. Okay, I seem to have tied it to each other. Here, not using any piece of string. Try again. There we go. We'll do the way around now. Next is to tie them together. Remember, it's hard to do. Find and now temporary.
We've got some bamboos
near to the river. Obviously we won't use it, we won't go and get it until it comes to the chance. So now
just leave it like that.
So yeah, we've just been hit by some afternoon rain, so we decided to come back in to shelter to keep all our gear dry, all our camera equipment dry, all our batteries dry, and we'll kind of have to, hopefully, if it does clear up, we'll be able to kind of continue doing our planning for fishing tomorrow.
Yeah, and you know, with the little energy we have, we kind of need to just stay warm.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, being cold, that will exhaust too much energy that we don't really have at the moment. So, you know, the best thing for us is to just stay here until it all tides over, to be fair.
Exactly. With obviously any kind of cold weather, your body's got to work harder to stay warm. Obviously we wouldn't be shivering outside, but it still has to kind of work harder to keep warm, and you don't kind of want to exert that energy. But yeah, obviously with this weather's becoming more and more unpredictable. We get deeper and deeper into monsoon season, so it's kind of at the start it used to just rain,
Sort of around
rain like about 7 into the evenings and overnight. But now it seems to be more and more often like raining during the afternoon as well. So it's kind of keeping us out from actually doing anything active at the moment.
And there's James Moynihan, 25. He's working ordinary job 9 to 5 before I decided to come and do this with Dan. I wanted to test my body really. One of the main motivations is I was getting bored of my current situation. You know, I wanted to take myself really so far out of my comfort zone, which this has done, to then test myself to, can I do it? Have I got the perseverance? Have I got the, you know, drive, the ambition, you know, to survive? You see this kind of stuff on TV and you think, I wouldn't be able to do that, I wouldn't be able to do what they're doing. I think everyone naturally inside them has the survival instincts and has the survival ability. It's just about, you know, unlocking that, you know, honing in them skills, learning from each day to day on, you know, how you can do better, you know, what needs to be done differently. And these are real skills that you can take into the real world once we finish it. I like to challenge myself. I like the feeling of, you know, pushing my body to sort of the absolute limit, and then when you've finished, you know, that sense of accomplishment, you know, that's a bit of a drug to me, you know. That's why I like to set myself these sort of different challenges every now and again, and they seem to be getting bigger and bigger as I do these. I've done like an ultra marathon, done like 3-peak challenge. I've done sort of small sort of challenges that people do, but this seems to be the biggest one that's taken me out of my comfort zone, you know, test my body to different limits, you know, not only physically, mentally, you know, there's a lot of time out here that plays on your mind.
Daniel, I work kind of like a normal job in England. One of the key motivations for like this certain project is I wanted to do something quite cool. I wanted to choose like a kind of a wet, kind of rainforest type environment, because that's kind of similar to a desert island. I've already been to the Sahara Desert. The main thing about this, originally the first few days, the main problem was having the amount of weight that you're carrying, because with 2 people, we were like alone with just 2 people, and we've got all our camera gear, which is all on our back. You have to carry 2 bags at a time, full of chargers, batteries, all of that. It's quite difficult in that sense. But the main difficulty at the moment is having a low energy, having my body fat go lower and lower. It becomes harder and harder for the body to be able to kind of source energy from the body rather than having any food. Definitely the challenge is something which I'm very comfortable with. Yeah, I don't really come out here just to test myself. I like to have that sense of achievement and that go. Testing myself isn't the main thing. Like there's certain things like I know I can do. I know that if I put my mind to it, I can do it. So I'm not coming out here to test myself, but I'm coming out here to achieve something very difficult, something which is out of the norm. So for another kind of day, I've had to go back into shelter very, very early due to the rain coming in earlier and earlier, just due to kind of like us getting deeper into the monsoon season. As you can see, it's not looking too good outside. What's the noise? What noise? Listen. Can you hear it? What's the noise? Weird.
Trying to get some body warmth, mate. I'm fucking freezing.
How cold are you?
Quite cold. Are you not cold?
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what cold is anymore?
I do.
I don't.
It's this right now.
Your bin bags should help you.
It's partly helping me.
Does the body fat not help much?
I don't know. It's just obviously because I'm not used to calling me fat then. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Cheers then. Because I'm not used to having so little now. This is quite a little for me.
It's a little for me. I want to say, your body fat gone.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to eat some more ants, mate.
Yeah.
If you eat like 1,000 ants, that's at least
100 calories?
Yeah. That's bugs biting, mate. Nice. Good old bug bites. Your stomach growling a lot now.
Yeah.
A lot more than it was the other day.
Yep. Especially when I start thinking about food.
Word association food?
No.
Roast dinner.
Roast lamb,
Mint.
mango chutney. Pop it all. Stop them from getting underneath us.
So last night I most probably got the least sleep since I've been here. I was sleeping with the mosquito net. It sort of pretty much rained pretty much non-stop. On and off, to be fair. The mosquito net was really wet, so it was a very sort of restless night's sleep. I don't think I got any more than an hour, to be fair.
Yeah.
I've woken up today, I've gone down, got some water, tried to get some more fluid within the...
When I woke up this morning, I was completely drained. My stomach hurt.
Yeah.
Did your stomach hurt?
Yeah, so like, now I'm feeling completely exhausted, drained, almost feel a little bit sick, to be fair. You know, just need to rest, so I might go back inside the shelter for a little while, just to try and rest up a little bit, and then hopefully have enough energy to just crack on with the shelter, make amendments ready for tonight.
Gonna go back in to have a rest?
Yeah. Fucking blackout.
You have a blackout? Yeah. Did your whole vision go? You right, mate?
Yeah. Right, do you want to come and get this coffee?
Yeah, sure.
Load of ants just collected on a leaf.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lick it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
They might bite you, be careful.
Yeah, man. I've got quite a lot there.
Okay, yeah, so we just made it out to the river. We're going to try some fishing. Going to kind of improvise ourselves and do it. Our original method did involve using bamboo. We have got bamboo. We're going to try doing it with 2 people in the water this time. See what happens. It's quite key today to kind of get some fish because, you know, we've got a choice of either thriving or surviving. We can see out the rest of our days eating insects and that'd be fine, but we'd have low energy. Or we can kind of try go out and catch some fish, have that more energy and kind of really feel that motivation. Because my energy's getting low, blackouts are getting more and more frequent as well, and obviously starting to hurt as well. James, how's your energy feeling?
My energy's alright, to be fair.
Yeah.
But then I have more body fat to burn. My energy, I don't really get blackouts. But as Dan was saying, man, we need to, you know, we're not just out here to survive. You know, 21 days without food, your body can do that. But
Yeah.
we want to be able to, you know, actually thrive. You know, be able to eat properly. You know, we want to be able to come out here and catch something.
Yeah.
So this today is very key. To then go back and it's going to pick up on morales, have the fire, have food, and then we can see the last bit of the journey home.
Exactly. Personally, I find when I was in the camp, my energy was extremely low. But the moment I get like into the water, into the stream, near to the river, when I'm being active, my energy seems to get higher. I guess because obviously when you're sitting down doing nothing, your metabolism slows. But now, you know, should be kind of hiking back up a bit to get a bit of a peak. And now my energy is, I couldn't run a marathon, but my energy is as high as it's really ever been in terms of when we've been out here. I'm like motivated, got the energy to do whatever we need. I don't feel lethargic at the moment. Our plan is to take a mosquito net and go out to there. As you can see, we're going to have to cross a path of water. Yeah, I've got my stitched hand in a glove, but it's going to get wet and it's going to affect the healing time. But that's something we have to face in order to get fish. I can sacrifice sometimes. And my knee braces come very loose. I found a possible fruit of some sort. I'm going to toss it up. You got it? Not warm. I don't know, mate. You not got like a safety pin on you somewhere, so we can get it out. How's it going? Just don't use it then. Like that. Find the corner.
What, I'm looking for that pin?
Or the corners.
Like that? That's not a corner.
Yeah, that's a corner, yeah.
Yep.
But we want to see if we can find the outside corners as well as the inside corners. Most likely we have to use the other method.
Pardon?
We have to use the other method most likely. How many lengths can you do?
3.
Yeah.
Fair few.
I can do 1. So if we start from, I think we should do it from that side.
I can't stand.
You can swim, can't you?
Yeah.
So from this, first let's see if there's like any kind of creature in this kind of corner area. So I think we're going to have to use the other method.
Yeah.
So we want to close everything in, get as wide a grip as you can, however wide you can get a grip, like full on left. Put one up, put one down. I want, see if I can put it on my foot. See if I can. And just like we'll close in back to where we came down. Yeah? Let's see if this probably won't bring up anything. James, to where we came down. Imagine if there's, let's just imagine there was something in this area. Let's just imagine, it's probably the most unlikely now that we're in here. We want to close it down into a smaller and smaller space.
Okay.
And the smallest space being right in that corner there.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got my foot on one because I've got my foot on one side, on the bottom part. So this is this is kind of like at the top of the water, the foot at the bottom, and it'll give a greater surface area. Okay, so our first method didn't work, not surprising. So the kind of river's too deep to kind of go too far out in, we're kind of based too close to the shore. So this time I'm going to use our main method, which we're kind of aiming to use. Going to see what we can do. Going to chop down some bamboo and attach.
Using way too much energy for that first method as well. You know, even just doggy paddling was getting me out of breath. So the amount of energy that we would have exhausted trying that method would have meant that we wouldn't have been able to do it for very long.
The next method will use some energy, but we'll see what we can do. Yeah, we're going to chop down some bamboo and we're going to attach it to our mosquito net. Yeah, our hands are covered in these kind of tiny hairs, which are actually piercing into like the top dermal layers of our skin, our dermis, essentially. So we're going to have to kind of get them out. They are some of them are a bit deep, to be honest. How are yours?
You just wipe your hand.
There you go, mostly gone. There we have it, our brand new door. A bit like a broom, but lean it against there, and that's just trapping a lot more body heat. Even in the space of a day or a few hours, the constant storms will bring down many parts of our route down the stream, as you can see. And well, as I kind of noticed myself, that there are many parts of debris and fallen trees which I'm not familiar with at all. Are you familiar with it all, James?
No, not at all, mate.
It seems, so much of it seems new. It's like really...
The more rain, the more rotting wood, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all kind of coming down, falling down. We hear it during the night. As you can see, it is absolutely chucking it down. What I do have is that I'm fishing with live bait. I'll explain it later, but I have to put the camera away. It's getting very, very cold. Okay, filming this on the GoPro. I collected these worms earlier, put it in a little bag for my, I use for SD cards normally. Okay, so getting this hook. Fuck me, it's so cold. Okay. This hook. It took me, I was out here when it was dry, but it just took so goddamn long so I had to untangle the whole wire system. So I had prepared this earlier. Put my lavalier away, it's getting too wet. I'll bring that back with me on the way back. Worms are trying to escape. Goddamn. This is the difficulty with using live bait. They always want to get away. This will be it, okay. One, done. So I've got a water bottle as a ballast, and I've got a stone to weigh it down. One, done. Bend in the hook. Too big a hook and you won't catch anything. This hook's probably too big, but don't really have the time to be messing around with it. Hard to put them on. This is where they squirm the most as they're being pierced. But live bait, from what I hear, is more effective. There we go, another one done. One, two. See if I can make this hook a bit smaller. Now this one I'll put a little cricket on. 3, 4. That one's trying to get away, so let's do that one. There we go, nice small hook. Put it on twice to kind of secure it. There we go. Then I'll put an additional one on here with a cricket. Get them to get nice and fat, and then when they kind of stretch out, it's kind of harder to put them on. I put it on like a ball and hope it sticks somewhere. Okay, we've got some there partially, and I'm going to do it again. There we go. Don't have any more worms left. Yeah, just a small one left. None have escaped, have they? Nice. Did I see one there?
Again, another day. We got hit by another rainstorm during the day. I was back at shelter trying to recover a little bit, as I didn't have a lot of energy.
It's got bitten on my scrotum.
Really?
Yes.
By what?
By an ant.
Oh fuck. We got hit by another rainstorm. I was back at the shelter trying to recover. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Dan came down to try and sort of fishing line out, but with the rainstorm I woke up, didn't know where he was, so I quickly ran down here, down the stream, to try and see if he was okay, because I would have expected him back. So I've come down here. Dan's having a little bit of trouble from the sounds of it, trying to get this fishing line out.
It's been like a massive issue of the fishing line tangling itself. I spent a long time detangling it, and then it got tangled all over again as I was ready to toss out the line. So it's been a ball of fun. So I've just had to modify my technique in this whole kind of fishing line situation, to use less line, and really I think it's best to do most of the work whilst at this location rather than in the shelter, because you know, once you take off the spool or the reel, it's going to tangle itself pretty quickly. Using safety pins from the medical kit, I've attached kind of worms and kind of grubs onto this fishing line. I'm going to toss it out using this bottle as a ballast and a stone as a sinker. We're going to leave it overnight to see what happens, but yeah, we're going to toss it out. It's been quite a bit of work today, more than I expected. We'll see what happens. The first time I've ever done this. Let's pray it goes well. And already it's already getting almost caught. We'll be very careful. It's like it's already getting caught. Okay. See what happens when I toss this out. So that is a success. It's gone out. The ballast is floating. I just would have to see what happens. We're having to go back to our camp. It's pouring down, so we're going to have to stop fishing. I need to get back before the water levels get too high. We collect both the watering can and the cup. Okay. I'm jumping ahead, mate.
Pardon?
I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, it's quite wet in here. It's quite wet in here. It's not good news. It's not good news. Just waiting for James. If he's not here in a few minutes, I'm going to go back out.
What's it like in there? Quite dry.
Even though it's around just gone after midday, maybe 3 o'clock, it is pouring down and we are confined back to our shelter yet again. As you can see, it's absolutely pouring down.
So when we got back to the shelter was already pretty waterlogged because, you know, we journeyed back in the rain. So what I did was I went out and cut a few more leaves down so we're not just sleeping in mud. So at the foot of my shelter are all these leaves, because otherwise we would literally, but it be in the end of the night being a swamp, I believe, because, you know, the rain is getting so bad. And I managed to get some more big leaves, so I've managed to cover up a few spots on the outside as well. So hopefully that's going to give us 1, installation, and 2,
a little bit more protection from the water.
Yeah, right now the water's coming. I feel it on my back, and as you can see, it's on those leaves. We'll see. Hopefully, we can kind of just maintain ourselves through the night. So we were just about to go out fishing. As we were kind of getting ready to go, it started raining, unfortunately. The rain's just happening more and more during the day now, so it's kind of cutting our time out to get any kind of food or sustenance. Yeah, at the moment it's kind of dragging our energies down, and it's kind of forcing us to spend more time in the shelter. The rain is also having a pretty much a no-calorie diet at the moment, is meaning that kind of our bodies are wanting to stay in the shelter because it kind of lowers their metabolism if we sleep more. But as you can see, it's still raining. I'm hoping this stops at some point so we can go back out, but at the moment we can't really be out there because, you know, being naked is going to drop our temperature way too low for what it should be. Quite a big problem with any kind of cuts and scrapes is that invariably flies will start trying to eat you alive. If you're not careful, you will cut your leg. Tough times.
Tough times. It seems to always happen to you as well.
It seems to be all the injuries happen to me.
Because I'm 2 weeks in and I've got no injuries.
You had sunburn, but that's about it.
Touch wood, but obviously feet injury. But
yeah.
But you seem to be getting the brunt of all the worst injuries.